All right, quick question. If you woke up tomorrow in ancient Rome, would you be sleeping in a marble courtyard with a private fountain, or in a cramped apartment where the ceiling might literally collapse on you? Because in Rome, where you lived didn't just show your status, it decided how long you might survive. Let's get into it. Close your eyes for a second and picture this. It's 8 a.m. in Rome. The streets are already loud. Vendors shouting, donkeys clattering over stone, the smell of bread mixed with sewage, because yes, both are happening at the same time. Now, we're going to visit two Romans, one rich, one poor. Same city, completely different universe. First, let's walk toward the wealthy neighborhood. You don't see towering apartment blocks here. The streets feel quieter, cleaner, more controlled. And then you stop in front of a large wooden door. This is a domus, a private house owned by Rome's elite, senators, wealthy merchants, political insiders. From the outside, it actually looks kind of plain. Rome wasn't about flashy exteriors. But the moment those doors swing open, different world. You step into the atrium, a large open central hall. There's a rectangular opening in the roof, and beneath it, a shallow pool called the impluvium, collecting rainwater. Light pours in dramatically. The walls are painted deep reds, yellows, blues, frescoes of gods, myths, landscapes. And the floor? Mosaics, tiny colored stones forming detailed images. Some houses literally had "Beware the Dog" mosaics at the entrance. Subtle flex. But here's the thing. The domus wasn't just a home. It was a power stage. Every morning, clients, basically people who depended on the owner, would line up in the atrium to greet him. This daily ritual was called the salutatio. Imagine turning your living room into a political waiting room every day. Your house was your brand. Now, let's walk deeper inside. Past the atrium, you'd find the tablinum, the office space. This is where business was handled. Deals, documents, influence. Then beyond that, a peristyle garden. And this part always gets me. A private garden inside the house, surrounded by columns, maybe a fountain in the center, statues placed just right, birds chirping, shade everywhere. In the middle of one of the loudest cities in the ancient world, you had your own peaceful oasis. That's wealth. Bedrooms were small. Romans didn't obsess over giant sleeping spaces. But the dining room, that's where it got serious. The triclinium. This is where elite Romans hosted dinner parties. Guests reclined on couches while eating. Yes, reclining. Meals were performances. Politics happened over wine. Alliances were formed over roasted dormice and exotic spices imported from across the empire. Your dinner party could shape your career. Now let's zoom out for a second. How many people lived in a domus? Usually one wealthy family plus slaves, because here's the reality. Elite Roman comfort was built on enslaved labor. Cooks, cleaners, tutors, gardeners. The house ran like a machine. But this lifestyle, only a small percentage of Rome could afford it. Now, let's cross the city. We leave the quiet elite district. The streets get tighter, louder, dirtier. You start seeing tall buildings rising above you. These are insulae, apartment blocks for the working class, and this is where most Romans lived. Picture a 5- or 6-story building made of wood and cheap brick, balconies sticking out awkwardly, laundry hanging everywhere, cracks in the walls. The bottom floor? That's prime real estate. Maybe a bakery, maybe a tavern. Above that, tiny apartments. And when I say tiny, I mean one-room tiny. No private garden, no atrium, no impluvium, no mosaic flex. Just a cramped space where an entire family might sleep, cook, and live. And here's where it gets rough. The higher up you lived, the cheaper the rent. Sounds normal, right? Except these buildings were unstable. Fires were common. Collapses were common. And if you lived on the top floor, you had no running water. So every day you're carrying water up multiple flights of stairs. No elevators, no safety codes. And if a fire breaks out, you're trapped. There were no organized fire departments like we think of today, at least not in the early days. By the time emperors like Augustus improved fire brigades, damage was already a regular part of city life. Imagine falling asleep knowing your ceiling might not hold. That was normal. Now let's talk bathrooms. In a domus, wealthy Romans might have private latrines connected to early plumbing systems. In insulae, you probably used a shared public toilet. And yes, that means sitting side by side with strangers on stone benches, no dividers, having full conversations. Privacy wasn't really a thing. Cooking? In the domus, slaves handled meals in a proper kitchen. In insulae, many families cooked on small portable stoves, which is, by the way, another reason fires were constant. And because there was no refrigeration, food went bad quickly. Waste piled up in the streets. The smell? Let's just say your morning walk was intense. But here's something important. The poor weren't just miserable background characters. They were bakers, craftsmen, shopkeepers, laborers, dock workers, builders. They kept Rome alive. The empire's glory built on their backs. And sometimes even wealthy Romans didn't stay wealthy forever. Political shifts, bad investments, imperial drama. Rome could elevate you and destroy you fast. Now here's where it gets interesting. Despite the insane wealth gap, both rich and poor Romans were deeply connected to the same city rhythms. They went to the same public baths. They watched games in the same arenas, though seating was separated by class. They shopped in the same markets. Rome wasn't segregated into completely different worlds. It was layered. You could walk from marble luxury to dangerous overcrowding in minutes. That tension, that defined the city. And here's one more detail that blows my mind. From the outside, many insulae were taller than domus homes. So imagine being a poor Roman looking down from the 5th floor on the tiled roof of a senator's house. You're physically higher, but socially, worlds apart. That's Rome in a nutshell. Architecture as status, space as power, silence as privilege. If your house had light, water, privacy, and greenery, you were winning. If your house was dark, cramped, and flammable, you were surviving. And yet, both groups believed they were part of the greatest civilization on Earth. That's the real twist. Because when we picture ancient Rome, we think marble columns and grand villas. But most Romans didn't live like emperors. They lived stacked on top of each other, hoping the building held. So next time you see a movie showing endless palaces and luxury, remember, for every domus with a private garden, there were dozens of insulae packed with families, sharing walls, noise, and risk. Same empire, two completely different daily realities. And honestly, that contrast might explain Rome better than any battlefield ever could. If you had to choose, atrium with a fountain or top-floor insula with a view and constant danger, let me know, because in ancient Rome, your address was your destiny.